Hello everyone, hi, my name's Tamara. I just wanted to welcome you to my sewing room tonight really quickly and go over a few tips and tricks to sew the Beach Baby swimsuit pattern for Grace. I just put this out as a sponsorship for the Virtual Doll Convention, and it's the monthly pattern for May. Some people have expressed to me that they're kind of concerned about sewing with knits, which I completely understand because they have intimidated me forever. So I just wanted to cover a few ideas that might help you be more successful with those. So here's the pattern. So this is available through the virtualdollconvention.com or also on our website at fletcherpatterncompany.com. And here's our model, which is Grace Marie Fitzpatrick. And Grace is wearing the swimsuit that I'll be demonstrating later in this video. So there's a couple things that you just want to keep in mind when you're getting ready to sew your swimsuit for this doll or another doll. First of all, you want to identify what type of knit you're working with. So basically there's two kinds. There is the two-way stretch, which is either going to stretch horizontally or vertically. So it says it's two ways, but it only goes one way, horizontally or vertically. The second type of knit fabric that you can use is a four-way stretch. So you're going to get a little bit of stretch both vertically and horizontally. So if it's a very tight-fitting garment on a small doll, you might want to choose a four-way stretch. For the example that I'm doing today, I use just the two-way. So let me show you how you'd identify that. Here's what I wanted to show you really quickly about that two-way and four-way stretch. I have two different fabrics, both which I think will make excellent swimsuits for any doll. And I'm very attracted to think that I might want to use this one. So if I pull the fabric, I'm going to pull it two ways to decide. So I'm pulling it horizontally, and it has a pretty significant stretch to it, as you can see, and it has a good bounce back rate. If I pull this way, then you'll notice though that the fabric does not give in the same way. So this fabric here is two-way stretch. Now this is another option that I have, and I also like this print as well. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to give it a pull horizontally, and you can see it's pretty significant with a good bounce back. And then I'm going to pull it this way, and you can see it's equally stretchy in the opposite direction. So this is an example of a four-way stretch, and that's how you can tell. So you're either pulling away and it's working, you're pulling away and it's working, or you're determining that there's more stretch in one direction. So that's something that you want to know when designing your garment. Once you've chosen your material, then you also want to take into account what type of other instruments you're going to need to create the perfect swimsuit. So what I would recommend is that you look at the type of thread that you're using. It's recommended that you use 100% polyester thread when sewing with knits. This just makes sure that you don't snag the fabric, but that you actually go through the fabric. So you can just look at the top of your thread that you're using, and it will usually indicate on the thread what it is. If you have a lot of spools of thread that you've had for a long time, then you want to just look and see if there's a lot of peeling or a lot of little fibers that you can see sticking up from the thread. That would indicate that that's a cotton thread and not a polyester. So just if you don't have the option to see the label, then go ahead and look at the thread to determine if it's cotton or polyester being the one you're looking for. The next thing you want to take into account is what type of needle you're using. So generally when you're sewing, you're thinking sharper is better, it's not going to be a problem. But in this case, when you're working with knits, you want to make sure that you're using something that has a ballpoint needle. So you've got either a jersey point or a ballpoint. Universal needle is good for cottons, it's good for woven fabrics, but when you're sewing with a knit, something that you want to go through the fiber instead of attack the fiber, you want to go with that. So make sure you look at your needle, it's easy to find, any sewing store will have this type of thing. So once you've determined what type of knit you're going to use, what type of needle you're going to use, and you have the appropriate thread, then in general you're good to go. The last thing that we need to talk about is what type of stitch you're going to use that's most effective for the knit. So in general, people want to use a straight stitch because it looks really clean. The problem is once you stretch a knit with a straight stitch, you end up popping the stitch or actually breaking the stitch seam, which isn't going to be good in the long run. So what you want to do is create something that gives a little bit of extra flexibility to the material. So what you want to try is a small zigzag stitch using a very small stitch length, and that's going to give you the best pull for your dollar. All right, so what you can do is practice. So take the material that you want to use for the garment, run a few stitches on it, and then just give it a little bit of pull. It should actually give when you give the little pull, because you want that to go onto your doll without breaking the stitch. So now we'll take it from here to the sewing machine. I'll show you in rapid fire way how we're going to create that swimsuit, and hopefully this will help you be successful in what you're trying to sew. And I look forward to seeing it. So thanks for coming by. Okay, now with that new information that we've learned about knits, we're going to go ahead and sew the VDC Club Grace Beachbody swimsuit. I've chosen of the two knits that we previously looked at, the black and white that had the 4-way stretch. Okay, great. We've arrived at the end of our project. We've created the Beach Baby swimsuit for Grace. I hope this information was helpful to you and that possibly you learned some new tips and tricks on how to use knits and possibly gained a little bit more confidence. Please share this video and subscribe. I would love to join you in the future with additional videos.